From beloved childhood favorites to the sex icon of a generation, these actors may be gone, but won't soon be forgotten. While technically the first live-action portrayals of the eponymous Mario Brothers came in the form of early 80s Atari commercials, Captain Lou Albano's and Danny Wells' performance as the daring duo is probably the most beloved. They entertained millions of children beginning in 1989 on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. The show featured Albano and Wells playing the two plumbers during live-action sequences at their Brooklyn residence, often with a celebrity guest before switching over to a cartoon episode of Super Mario Bros. Or The Legend of Zelda. Albano and Wells also voiced Mario and Luigi in the Mario Bros. Cartoon episodes. Captain Lou was known for a prominent professional wrestling career that started in 1953 and ended in 1995, and he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame a year later. Albano died on October 14, 2009 from a heart attack at the age of 76. Danny Wells, who played Luigi, was known for his TV guest appearances on the likes of The Jeffersons, Happy Days, Punky Brewster, Chips, The A-Team, Sanford and Son, and Starsky and Hutch. He also did voice acting for Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, Batman the Animated Series, Johnny Bravo, and more. He died of undisclosed causes on November 28, 2013. If you're one of the few people who made it all the way through the Jaws franchise to the fourth movie, 1987's Jaws: The Revenge, you may recognize Judith Barsi as the young granddaughter of Police Chief Martin Brody. Before that movie came out, Barsi already had small parts in well-known TV series including Cheers and Cagney and Lacey. Today, she is best remembered for two Don Bluth feature animations. She voiced Ducky, an excitable young dinosaur, in 1988's The Land Before Time, and animal whisperer Anne Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. On July 25, 1988, 4 months before The Land Before Time premiered, Judith, age 10, and her mother Maria were shot dead by Judith's abusive father, who then killed himself. According to the Los Angeles Times, a neighbor said that Maria had lived in fear for herself and her daughter. She was trying to leave her husband but feared he would find and kill them. Both The Land Before Time and All Dogs Go to Heaven came out after Judith and Maria's deaths. Actor Heather Hogan voiced Ducky in subsequent Land Before Time sequels. Dana Hill originally wanted to be a track star until type 1 diabetes ended her youthful athletic dreams. Her father's career as a commercial director helped her start in the industry, and she booked a series of ads before appearing on various television programs, including Mork and Mindy, Fallen Angel, and Magnum P.I. She also voiced a variety of animated characters for cartoons like Rugrats, Goof Troop, and Darkwing Duck. She's best recognized for playing Audrey Griswold in National Lampoon's European Vacation, replacing Dana Barron from National Lampoon's Vacation a few years prior. Hill's life and career were both cut short after suffering a fatal stroke triggered by her diabetes on July 15, 1996, at the age of 32. A classically trained Shakespearean actor, Helen McCrory made a name for herself on stage and in a number of fan-favorite films and television series. For those who don't frequent the London theater, McCrory was probably best known for playing Narcissa Malfoy in the Harry Potter film franchise. Other film credits include Skyfall, Hugo, The Queen, and more. On television, McCrory played Madame Kali in Penny Dreadful, provided the voice for Stell Maria on His Dark Materials, and owned every scene she appeared in as Polly Gray on Peaky Blinders. She passed away on April 16, 2021 at the age of 52 from breast cancer while filming the 6th season of Peaky Blinders. And certain storylines actually had to be rewritten due to her untimely death. Funny man Louie Anderson had one of the most iconic voices in the world of comedy. He was an actor whom you could identify after just hearing a few words from his mouth.
Well, I just know it's a sound, and he went, ah! And the producer said, you mean Louie Anderson?
Yeah. Anderson's wit and quick-thinking delivery made him a sought-after stand-up act. He regularly appeared on late-night television and celebrity game shows to help get the crowd rolling. Anderson's television career was an interesting one. Early on, he created a cartoon series called Life with Louie, based on his childhood in the Midwest. Anderson voiced both the childhood version of himself and his father in the series. The show won a number of Daytime Emmy Awards in the mid-90s. Anderson went on to appear on many other shows in small, memorable roles before becoming a critical darling again with the FX series Baskets. Anderson created the show along with Zach Galifianakis, Louis C.K., and Jonathan Kreisel. He starred in the series as Christine Baskets. Anderson died on January 21, 2022 from lymphoma at the age of 68. He had kept his diagnosis private for over a decade and passed away just 3 days after releasing information about his illness. Robbie Coltrane was a total chameleon of an actor. His characters were capable of displaying warmth, silliness, and love, while also showcasing fearsome strength and darkness. To be able to do this once or twice is impressive, but to do it again and again requires some serious talent. It's no wonder Coltrane was honored as an officer of the Order of the British Empire in 2006. Coltrane jumped between comic and dramatic roles with ease. His best-known characters came from the world of film. He portrayed Valentin Zukovsky, a former KGB officer and frenemy of James Bond in GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough. His fame grew even more when he was cast as gamekeeper Rubeus Hagrid in the Harry Potter film franchise. Playing one of the warmest characters in a beloved franchise helped cement Coltrane's acting legacy. On the television side of things, Coltrane regularly appeared in TV movies and miniseries where he got to flex his acting muscles. He's probably best known for the crime drama Cracker, where he starred as Dr. Edward Fitzgerald. Coltrane died on October 14, 2022 due to ongoing health complications. He was 72 years old. In the world of classic television, not many shows stand above their peers like Happy Days. It ran for over a decade of television, featuring 11 seasons and over 250 episodes, and also helped launch the careers of notable actors like Ron Howard, Henry Winkler, and Scott Baio. One other actor who appeared in every season of Happy Days and starred in one of its spin-offs was Erin Moran. Moran played Joni Cunningham, the younger sister of Richie and Chuck, who eventually starts dating Chachi. As the young couple started gaining popularity on the show, a spin-off series called Joni Loves Chachi was created. This new series was about a young couple trying to start a musical act, and the episodes featured performances from Baio and Moran. Joni Loves Chachi was not as well received as Happy Days and was canceled during its second season. The characters popped back up on Happy Days and actually got married in the final episode. Moran continued to find work after Happy Days, but never really returned to the spotlight. She struggled with cancer later in life and died in 2017 at the age of 56. Even if you've never seen something she's appeared in, you've probably seen pictures of Raquel Welch. Welch was a major sex symbol in the 1960s and beyond. She made her first splash with the film 1 Million Years BC, shooting to fame after appearing on the film's poster, clad only in an animal skin bikini. She only had a handful of lines in the film, but that image was more than enough to make her a household name. Outside of that, Welch is probably best known for roles in films like the 1973 version of The Three Musketeers, Kansas City Bomber, Bedazzled, and Right to Die. She was a regular guest on celebrity specials and game shows, and also had recurring roles on a handful of short-lived series, like 2008's Welcome to the Captain and 2017's Date My Dad. Raquel Welch died on February 15, 2023, at the age of 82. Whether you call him the big guy or Uncle Phil, James Avery earned household name status through his portrayal of Philip Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Prior to making his mark on that long-running hit NBC sitcom, the burly actor had plenty of small roles throughout his TV career, although he was particularly well known for his voice acting work.
But you may call me the Shredder.
Avery was the voice of Shredder on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and War Machine on Iron Man. He also did voices for a list of projects that included The Prince of Egypt, Extreme Ghostbusters, Fist of the North Star, and Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. A fatherly presence despite his most famous character's name, Avery saddened a generation of viewers when he died from complications following heart surgery on December 31st, 2013, at the age of 68. Wendie Jo Sperber had small parts in two very big movies. She was an uncredited dancer in Grease, one of the most famous musicals of all time. And she played Marty McFly's older sister Linda in Back to the Future, reprising the role for Back to the Future Part 3. Even before Back to the Future, Sperber was well known to some thanks to her part in the sitcom Bosom Buddies. The show starred Tom Hanks as Kip and Peter Scolari as Henry, two friends who have to pretend to be women in order to get an apartment in a cheap women's-only hotel. Sperber played Amy, their co-worker and initially the only resident who knows the men's secret. In addition to regular movie roles, Sperber also appeared in episodes of various hit TV series including Murphy Brown, Will and Grace, Home Improvement, and Jag. Sperber was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1997. 4 years later, she founded We Spark Cancer Center, a nonprofit intended to support other patients and their families. She died on November 29, 2005, at the age of 47. When it came to the characters on Saved by the Bell, the odd man out was often Sam Powers, better known as Screech. The Saved by the Bell bunch boasted a nice collection of stereotyped characters, and Screech was the dork. Though Screech typically appeared as a side character, often aiding the schemes of Zack and Slater, actor Dustin Diamond was still able to showcase his comedic talents. That helped him carve out a solid identity for a character that could have easily been a throwaway member of the central cast. Like his character, however, Diamond was kind of the odd man out of the main cast. After the show ended, Diamond struggled to land substantial roles and often found himself at the center of bizarre controversies. A sex tape was leaked in 2006, one that Diamond later admitted he himself released, with a body double replacing him in most of the scenes. Diamond would also release a behind-the-scenes tell-all book called Behind the Bell, in which he aired out all the dirty laundry on his Saved by the Bell co-stars. He would later admit that a ghostwriter made up almost everything in the book. Diamond passed away from lung cancer in 2021. He was 44 years old. Earl Hindman had a relatively low-profile show business career, but he stayed consistently busy for decades, appearing in movies like The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Throughout the 70s and 80s, he had his most consistent visibility in the part of Bob Reed, a character he played in more than 450 episodes of the long-running ABC daytime drama Ryan's Hope. It was a steady gig whose reliability and dramatic potential would be the envy of most working actors. It was another supporting role on a long-running series, however, that ultimately earned Hindman his greatest notoriety.
Howdy, neighbor.
Most 90s kids will remember him as Wilson, the mysterious but friendly neighbor of Tim the Toolman Taylor on the hit sitcom Home Improvement. Hindman died on December 29, 2003, at the age of 61 due to lung cancer, leaving a generation with fond memories of that lovable neighbor behind the fence who always had the best advice and most interesting hobbies.
Well, hi-ho, Taylor Teen. I am sculpting a shrine out of yak butter.